All right, we shall now call the meeting to order with a quorum verification. So, Mrs. Rodriguez, can you do us a roll call of everybody present, please?
Yes, Dr. Windsor,
Present.
Mrs. Jones,
Here, present.
Mrs. Rodriguez, here, Mrs. Shu, present, Dr. Kim, and Ms. Hibachi.
Hibachi.
Here.
Hobage.
Oh, sorry, Crystal.
How long have you known each other?
I didn't really know how to say your last name. How long have you been
Secrets out.
Okay, quorum verified. That means we're starting our meeting at 6:07 p.m. 5:07 p.m. Sorry. 5:07 p.m. All right, item 2, approval of previous minutes for October 20th, 2025.
I move to adopt the minutes as written.
I'll second.
All in favor of passing the minutes, say aye.
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 It sounds like it is approved unanimously. Number 3, call the public. I received no requests for a call to the public. Item 4, executive report. Mrs. Jones, do you have anything to present, or do you have a PowerPoint? Do you have anything to present, or just chat through it?
Yeah.
I'll have you presenter. I think you already are. Can you already present?
I'm not sure. Let me see.
I just did it. It made co-host anyway. And Joel, I'm gonna make you co-host as well, so I don't forget. Nice.
Okay, can you?
Nice, beautiful.
Everybody sees it okay? Okay, so we're just gonna do an overview of our continuous improvement plan and give you an update on where we are in all of our areas. Sorry about the screen, doing that. So, our strategic theme again, it's authentic relationships. And our priority statement is to increase authentic relationships to build rigor and support for all. So we have 3 objectives that we've identified to help us get to this priority statement. And one is to implement multi-tiered systems of support, or MTSS, with fidelity. The other is to intentionally ensure that authentic relationships are happening across campus and our school community. And the third one is to analyze our common assessments and our informal observations. And that's linked to our rigor with support for all objective. So in objective 1, implementing MTSS, or multi-tiered systems of support with fidelity, this objective has to do with interventions across our campus. And it's not just academic interventions, it's also behavior interventions. So we've identified scholars receiving those interventions, and we're tracking evidence that those tiered supports are being consistently met and tracked. So as of right now, 100% of our classrooms and grade levels have implemented a structured grade level intervention. And it's a structured part of the day for every single grade level. And they meet monthly with the principal, assessment and intervention coordinator, myself, and the coaches, and we all meet to look at the data and look at what's happening with those scholars who are in interventions. Typically, it's the scholars below the 20th percentile are also being pulled out for interventions. But you're going to see in our data in a little bit that we're starting to shrink the 20th percentile so much that they're like reaching up a little bit to the higher tiers to support the next lowest group, because we're really starting to close that 20th percentile gap. For the second objective, and intentionally ensuring authentic relationships across campus and our school community, we're doing this by engaging in intentional check-ins with our staff and our faculty and our scholars and families. We're looking into people's, we call it the emotional bank account, or the EBA, and restorative conversations. We're also getting consistent feedback from our scholars, teachers, and families through our surveys. We're emphasizing teacher voice and input, as well as scholar voice and choice. Those are elements that came up in our surveys from last year that we knew that we needed to improve. So we did give our winter Cognia perception survey. We are still in the process of crunching those numbers and analyzing that data. So I'm gonna wait to present that until I have the full picture of the analysis. But I can report that we did give the survey, and we're analyzing it right now. We're in the process of analyzing it, and we'll have a report on that. And that will kind of help us to know how we're doing on this objective.
Is that the second time that
Yes.
the survey was given?
We do it in the fall, then we did it in the winter. So we just closed the survey last Wednesday. Yeah. So and then the third objective is to analyze our common assessments and informal observations to ensure rigor with support for all. So again, during that monthly meeting with our teachers, so we meet monthly during a curriculum and data review meeting. And so we go over the assessment data, the common assessment data. We look for gaps. We look to see how scholars are doing and if we're seeing growth. And then we are also tracking our more informal observations and what we're seeing with rigor in the classroom. We also had a really great 2-day training on rigor with support from our AVID advisor, our AVID our coach, sure. So he came and did a wonderful training for us. So we really narrowed down what we're looking for when we're saying rigor with support and what that means in all of our classrooms. So this objective, I feel that we can pretty clearly correlate our growth in this objective to our overall school growth in our MAP assessment and our winter assessment data, which I'll present right now. Because typically in the winter, we usually see a little bit of a drop off in the winter. For some reason, it always panics us. So it's like, oh my goodness, what's going on? And then it dips back up in the spring. This time we saw an increase in achievement across our school in all of the subjects. So for our school, our overall growth and achievement, so this is math. For our math assessment, we took into some.
It's not changing, Mrs. Jones.
What'd you say?
I'm still on slide 1.
What? Oh no.
I know. I thought, did she make more slides?
Oh no, you missed the whole thing. Let me see.
Great narration.
You should have told me.
I know, right?
Okay.
Oh, okay. There we go. That's
Do
beautiful.
you see it now? Okay.
Yes, I do.
All the other slides were basically what I said. They were just notes of
Okay.
things I said, yeah, more detail. So this is our math data for our growth and achievement on the MAP test. So we are in the 56th percentile.
Wow.
Which is really great. Because we look for the 50th percentile by winter. And then our achievement, look at our growth from the 47th percentile in the fall to the 52nd percentile. And we're really excited about seeing that red go down. So it was 18% in the fall, down to 14%. And let me see if I can move you guys a little bit. So we can see also our green is growing. And so these are all in, and our blue, our high achieving from 12%.
Mine's not moving at all. I just see the 2 top lines. lines. Why?
You
What's
see
going
the,
on?
no, I didn't do the grade
Oh,
level. I can.
okay.
I can.
Oh, I
I-
thought you were moving, scrolling down. I'm sorry. I
No.
panicked for a moment. We good.
I did our overall school growth, although I
Gotcha.
can go into more detail with each grade level if you would like.
No, you're driving the ship. I'm good.
Okay. For overall reading, this is our school-wide reading growth. So we're at the 53rd percentile for growth. And then so that we showed achievement growth from the 46th percentile to the 49th percentile, right? Oh, that 50th percentile mark for reading. But still growth. So we're looking at that green growing and moving, we're moving students up a level. This is our language usage. So 53rd percentile of growth. And then we grew, wow, oh, we did dip a little bit on our language usage from the 51st percentile to the 49th percentile. And you can see we always look at these little indicators to see kind of where the movement is. And it can be the slightest movement, like you see that our high growth actually grew to the 14% up in the very high growth. But we did have a little bit of a jump in the red as well. So that's something we look at. And then for science, oops. It's also doing a weird thing with the screen. I'm sorry. So science is a pretty new test. This is only our second year taking this test. So it's really good data for us to see. They take it in 4th and 5th grade. No, yeah, 4th and 5th grade, and then in 7th and 8th grade, they take the NWEA MAP test. So this is giving us good data to see how, what we're gonna do to get to that jump in that growth of science as well. So we reached the 42nd percentile, took a little dip in the winter. So what we do is we'll use the data, we go through each grade level, collects their data, and they'll look at the specific strategies that they're using and what strategies they need to enhance and how they move forward from there. And that's a monthly cadence really for us. So yeah.
What's the goal for the science one, since it's a fairly new one? Like I know you said the other one was like 50% like goal or whatever.
The growth goal is always about the 50th percentile is what we want. So that's if you get to the 50th percentile, it means you're making steady growth towards your target. We don't have a WIG associated with science, a wildly important goal. So it's not something that we've put a particular WIG percentile to, but the 50th percentile is what we look for in all of the areas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since science is new, is it going to be added in like exact path, and like for the younger grades, will there be like a science component kind of in the future?
Something we've looked into. Yeah. It's something we could possibly add. Yeah. Yeah. I know that since they're testing in those, this is a new testing piece. And so, yeah, we will need to give them more supports along the way so that they're prepared for all the assessments. Yeah. We are in our second year of a new science curriculum as well. And so we're already seeing in the assessment data, we're seeing some growth in that science with the new curriculum as well. Yeah.
It's got to be a good shout out to your team, Mrs. Jones, Rohini, and your coaches, Mrs. Chu, with her stewardship over the MTSS. It's a new thing we're doing this year. So Misan, I think is a big shout out to you and guiding us through that.
Yeah, it's the team is definitely, I think we're just seeing a lot of growth.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
encouraging to see.
It is
the data
encouraging.
reflects the effort put
Yeah.
into it.
As well as the behavior too, because we've been putting a lot of kids on success guides without waiting for them to wait for a disciplinary hearing. And like, we're being very proactive. Like, we know that there's a pattern of behavior. Ms. Galbridge and Ms. Chelsea, we've been kind of working with parents and teachers and putting on success guides at tier 2, tier 3 support that they need just for check-ins and regulation and different coping strategies. So it kind of goes hand in hand with the academic and the behavior too.
Very encouraging. All right, Mr. Bryce, you want to take us through our financials and the conversation, some of the things we need to have right now? Not conversations, because it's just a presentation.
All right, I apologize, guys. I'm on a computer that the camera is not working. I cannot figure out what is going on with it, so I'm off camera, but I'm on microphone.
Okay.
Your picture's so handsome. We're good.
Sorry about that. They say if you got a headshot, you must know what you're doing, and I found that to not be true. So, all right. So this report includes all activity through the 31st of December, 6 full months of operation, half a fiscal year, and we're in good shape in one regard and not good shape in another. And I'm going to point out what I'm talking about here right now. So finished last year. These are updated numbers after the last adjustments that I'll make before the auditor completes their audit. We're going to come in about a 1.12 times actual coverage for fiscal year 2025. The requirement in our loan agreement is 1.20. So we're a little bit shy of that. Not so significant that it's problematic. The school is required to engage a consultant to provide management with a report and recommendations. They're in the process of doing that right now. And we'll implement those recommendations, which are things we're already working on, and get that improved on the go forward. We had 226 days cash at the end of fiscal year 25, down from the prior year. Expenses were up from the prior year. So the cash balance itself did not move much. We had a small receivable at the end of last year for state equalization. That's unusual. So those things combined with higher expenses is the biggest reason for the change in the days count. Larger expenses lowers your days automatically. Currently for the 26 budget year, this budget, we've just gone through a revision with management on the 26th of January, so very recent, modeling down the enrollment included in the budget to 784 ADM, 817 students, in agreement with where we're at right now for actual ADM and enrolled count. So with that, we're projecting a debt service coverage of 0.58. First time the school's had a projection that includes insufficient coverage to cover at least the minimums in the loan agreement to avoid an event of default, which is where we're at right now for this fiscal year. If we come in at a 0.58, not ideal, not good. The good news, the school has a very healthy balance sheet. You have time to correct this issue, but that can't continue on the go forward. Not to mention, you'll also be an intervention with your authorizer on the financial performance framework. Again, not a big deal. It's really administrative more than anything, but it will come up if we end up finishing the year at that level, which it's likely we're going to be below 1.0. It may not be quite this bad. Days cash will drop to 197.88 days, again, as a function of increased expenses for sure, as well as the loss for the year, which does burn off a little cash. So with that, this is the first year since I've worked with you that we're looking at deficient coverage for the fiscal year. We knew that going into the year. We knew it was going to be a problem, and enrollment has declined a little bit further yet, which widens that gap. So this isn't a doom and gloom, but it is. I want to point this out to the board because you're going to see in a second that you're really doing well compared to your budget. Note that budget shows we're going to finish the year at 0.58 times coverage and lose cash. So we're sticking to the plan that we have, but that plan is not one we can use again next year because we will not like the outcome there. All right.
Joel, on the go back one.
Yep.
I'm always looking for annual net income, and I saw it in the paragraph. What's this year's annual net income projection is?
Let's go. Bear with me.
26. Oh, is it all the way at the end? Never mind.
Yeah, so annual net income from ordinary operations this year, I project a $162,000 loss. Then after depreciation and amortization, it's a $587,000 loss. Keep in mind, depreciation and amortization is non-cash activity. It does affect you, but this is different than operating losses.
Gotcha.
That's how we get to that 0.58. On that first page, Brian, what I was pointing out there, thank you for reminding me, is we need to improve our performance this year, assuming we could, and we cannot, but assuming we could, we need to increase our performance by $817,000 on net income to satisfy the ASBCS requirement of 1.10 times coverage. And we need to increase performance by $977,000 to satisfy the bond loan agreement requirements of 1.2. So,
Yeah.
you know, just to put this in perspective, $1 million improvement in net income, which you could do, you know, three ways. You can increase revenues, you can reduce expenses, or you can do both of those simultaneously. That's a big swing for a $10 million budget. That's, you know, fully 10% improvement. We got to look at this for next year and figure out, A, we have to crack the enrollment issue and grow our enrollment, but B, we need to trim expenses to the fullest extent possible, which lengthens our runway and buys us plenty of time to do that. And I'm
I
confident
want
we
to,
can.
one second, let me make sure that, so one is increase enrollment. Remember, our main one is to keep our enrollment, keep our families happy, keep with us.
Yep. And when
Forget
we
that.
talk about increasing enrollment, great point, Brian. Retention is
Yeah.
the fastest way because we add new students every year. If we retain at the highest level possible, that means we have to add fewer over time and they stay with us longer. In a K-12 program, a kindergartner coming in could theoretically pay the school for 13 straight years if they stay enrolled. That's a long time. It's a great return on investment. So yes, Brian, retention for sure. All right, skipping through, I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. There's not a lot we need to dwell on here. December 31st of this year, $5.16 million in cash in the bank as compared to $5.9 million last year. That's not all due to loss. There's been some capital investment along the way as well, but a decrease in cash of about $760,000. Everything else, for the most part, pretty close to where we were last year. A little higher on AP, had some projects that weren't paid for at the end of December. That's not unusual for Paideia. 34,000 is actually fairly low. That's unusual. Everything else materially similar and exactly where we would expect it to be. Net assets, let me get you there. $5.5 million of net assets, or what would otherwise be equity in a private setting, compared to $6 million and some change last year. So we've decreased our net assets, or lost equity, if you will. And that's a result of negative operations this year and some of the things on the balance sheet cash-wise that are more related to December than they are the whole fiscal year. This isn't something to be concerned about at the moment, but obviously we don't want that trend to continue year over year, and we're working to avoid that. Statement of activities tells you a lot as well. This year versus last year, first 6 months of both, 434,000 and change less in revenues, almost all of that from the Fed. We were enjoying the last quarter of ESSER 3 funding at the beginning of last fiscal year. That money is no longer available to the school. That's the reason for this decrease. We had used ESSER for 3 years to kind of bolster our performance and provide us the ability to bridge the learning gap. That's what it was used for, and that's what we're supposed to use it for. It's gone, it's not coming back. We're now having to live on normal operating revenues. This decrease, you know, we knew it was coming, and we're dealing with that. If you look on the local and state side, for a budget year size, that's pretty much the same. Not a whole lot of difference. The $36,000 decrease in state funding is actually almost directly related to not drawing down school safety as timely as we did last year, and not receiving the K-3 reading weight just yet by the end of December, whereas last year we had received it by December. That caught us up. So we're almost dead even on local and state revenues last year to this year. The Fed is where the hiccup is. On the expense side, $358,000 and some change more than last year, the bulk of which coming from staff. The rest of it kind of spread out fairly evenly across the other categories of spending. So not the trend that you would ideally see in a situation like this, less revenue and more expense than the year before. Statement of cash flows. Since we started the fiscal year, we've burned off $115,000 in cash. So again, that's not terrible for the first 6 months, considering that we're going to book a pretty good size loss this year. That's a reasonable expectation for burn rate. Budget versus actual. This is the revised budget what we modeled with management on the 26th. We are $122,000 behind on the revenues. All of this is timing. This is just receipt of funds and when it's scheduled in the budget. I'm not worried about any of the revenue deficit at all. On the expense side, a little bit behind the budget. Most of this also is timing. So if you look at the decreases of 122,000 in revenues and 92,000 in expenses, it's just how the budget was broken down cumulatively to not be exactly how we spent the money for this year, but very close. I feel like the budget's extremely sound and an accurate predictor of where we're going to finish the year at the moment. It includes all inputs management's provided, any changes to the expense structure, and any updates to our spending trend related to things like instructional services for substitutes, transportation, and SPED, which are usually the 3 areas that can be more volatile year to year, and we have to watch them very closely. So with that, we're projecting that we'll finish the year as indicated, 0.58 times debt service coverage and days cash dropping to 197.88, which is still considered extremely liquid for any charter school. The benefits of Paideia are over so many years, you've been such good stewards that you have a lot of cash to work with to buy you time as we fix the enrollment issue. In the near term, the challenges are default on your indebtedness is obviously not something we want to deal with. So we're working through that process to restructure our debt. It's time we are allowed to do that. In so doing, we may be able to avoid this situation this 1 year because it would be a non-tested year if we were able to functionally restructure our debt before the end of 6/30. And that means that next year becomes the first tested year of the new debt. And we'll have a much leaner, meaner organization going into next year and improved enrollment, I hope, although I really don't think it would be prudent to predict an improved enrollment scenario for next year just yet until we know what's driving results one way or the other. So I'm going to pause there and see if there's any questions from the board on what we've covered. Brian, anything else you want to provide some more color on?
No, it's just, man, it is what it is. We are where we are.
It is what it is, and it just can't stay what it is.
No.
Exactly. This is a very solvable issue, and I think this, if you could define it in the simplest way possible, branding.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that our brand is well represented in our marketing, and our marketing is as robust as it can be in the digital formats available to the school. Not enough people know how good we are. That's really what it comes down to. And it's a very solvable problem.
Yeah, it is a solvable problem. It is. We rode for 10 years just on.
If you think about it, Brian, it was luck. It was a good story and some luck that got us there.
I didn't realize. So, Miss Jones, could you take the community outreach and marketing, kind of review what we're doing there? If there's no questions about the finances. Actually, we can't have a lot of discussion because it's just executive report. Clarifying questions, I suppose. I am so encouraged by. Here's the difference, I think, right now. The difference between year one, 2011, 2012. I mean, I took control, Mrs. Garrison at that time. All of us went knocking neighborhoods. I might even walk by Mrs. Rodriguez's house, knocked her in her door. I don't know, but I knocked on every door I possibly could. And we had a high level, a high sense of, we got to get community engagement and outreach on this thing. And then kind of rested on laurels a little bit. We got a beautiful school, a good program, and we're back there. So Mrs. Jones has got the sense of urgency again. I love what's happening. Want to review a little bit of that?
Well, we're kind of trying to go back into the grassroots, of marketing. So we're doing a lot of local community things. Our social media outreach is really improving. We saw through our
Like the unofficial
resident
social media person.
You're doing amazing.
amazing
Doing all the
person.
videos, yeah.
Yeah, well, the engagement is really up on our social media, and we also with our marketing company, there a lot. I know that there's more and more ads. We're running a lot of ads on our on social media as well. And then we're doing some local things. We've partnered with some local stores. I know Miss Nakamura has helped us secure some partnerships with Ace Hardware down the street. We've done some fundraising nights with Chick-fil-A and other scooters. And we just last week we started going around. We're doing a lot of preschool outreach to the preschools in the area, and just trying to connect with the local community a lot more. We did the school's choice. Our principals did the school's choice event a couple of weeks ago. We have the Levine barbecue coming up. We have the community market coming up, and we are doing monthly what we're calling walk-in talks, where we're opening up the school for people to come in and see what we're doing. We have a kindergarten roundup coming up, so we're just increasing engagement. a lot. And then,
Yeah.
of course, we're focused on the scholars we have, focused on what I call a stay campaign. you know,
Stay campaign, exactly.
to retain our scholars that we have now.
And you're doing a referral program too. for, like,
Yes.
Scholars to
Mhm.
recommend.
And family's good.
Families, yeah. Mhm.
From my end, I'm learning and revving up our CRM, our customer relationships management software through Brevo. And so the idea is between Mrs. Jones and myself and some other thought leaders, we're going to position Paideia as the South Mountain, South Phoenix thought leader on whole person nurturing, whole person education with the family and in the school. So we've got our podcast almost ready. So we're going to be pushing the podcast out for our families and others, and just really not just for marketing, but truly to be a thought leader and help families with a whole person education, the habits, principle-centered families, peace, and how do we navigate this world we're in right now. I'm creating drip campaigns. I'm learning Brevo and creating these drip campaigns that we can just continuously touch the families who have touched us with love and not pressure, but just these consistent outreach to everybody through email and SMS, just that we're here, that we love them, and we're part of the community. But I think between all of that, and also, righting the ship of making sure that we're not overstaffed, that our classroom sizes are correct. Not over. I don't want to go over. That's not what I'm saying. That we're wise in how many teachers we have versus how many kids we have. I'm very encouraged with what's happening over there. And then we've got Misa on. I'm not sure what her stewardship is. Is that outside your job description? Social media crazy.
I don't know. Keep adding it
Taken
on.
off though, I don't know.
it's like, oh my gosh, that's so amazingly
But
wonderful.
there's some cute videos that we've been doing. So
There are, man. It's just like amazing.
yeah, all the kids are excited because now I have like 3 other teachers who've reached out. They're like, when are you going to do our class?
Aw.
I would like you to get them to me so I could put them on YouTube. They could be on our YouTube channel as well. So any of those, make them available to me so I could upload them. That'd be awesome. All right. That's a good report.
We also have a new social media club on the PLA campus. So
Oh,
they're learning how to do and take over the social media for PLA as well.
wow.
Mhm.
Okay. That sounds good. All right. Item number, are we on 5? Where are we?
Yes, 5.
5, yeah. All right, item number 5, a policy discussion and a vote on the revised kindergarten standard and early enrollment. We set a policy some years ago that it was September 16th, I think. And what I came to realize is that the state law allows us to go to December 31st if we have an early entrance system. And then there's a bunch of check boxes to go through on the early entry system. We have the entire policy written. All of the processes are created. Now we just need to review it with the board and any, just to make sure that, because it's, that's part of your fiduciary responsibility, watching over the policies. I'll open it up to some discussion.
What are the differences between the current policy and the new one?
Great question. The current policy is, hey, if you're not 5 by September 16th, it's over. There's no early entrance. And so that's a problem for 2 reasons, in my opinion. Number one, it's not fair to some of those kids who are on September 17th or October, or even, I mean, my little grandson Jake's November 22nd, and he's already, well, he's got a great tutor for one thing, but he's going to blow preschool away and kindergarten away. So that's one. Number 2 is it's diminishing our marketing ability because those kindergartners are going to go somewhere. So we ought to test them in and get them into Paideia.
Dr. Windsor, I looked some information up on it and it looks like a lot of the current, school districts are already doing that. And so, do we end up paying for the testing and stuff, or who pays for the testing? And is the test already in place? Like what I could see on the internet, it says like each school district already has like a test.
Let me
So is it
share
something
my.
this idea makes up, or is the school district already made it up?
No, we have our own. We have our own. Let me put the full document up. I didn't share all the the whole thing with everybody, but let me get that up here. Make sure I get the right one. Oh, you can't see it anyway, unless you get really scrunchy up there, huh?
It's okay. We can see it kind of.
Yeah, works
So
pretty
there's
good.
all the policy, and then all the procedures begin right here. Here's all the appendices. So we have an early kinder application. We have a parent consent for us to do some screening, and then it's just a rubric and a score. Best interest determination. These are all from the law. Early placement agreement, conditional support plan. If the child didn't quite make it, we could decide, hey, if we give them some more support, maybe it would make it. And then 7, we have to have a entry appeal request form. So here is the application. Self-care, is he toileting? Is he or she toileting? If you don't check that box, that might be the end of the deal. Does he manage lunch items with help? Following 2 steps directions, you see. So we have these checklists going. Any support needed, documents submitted. Then we get into the parent consent for us to do a screening. And so then here is a screening, and it's on a 4-point rubric screening scale. And that we just have listening, comprehension, and directions. And Mrs. Chu is highly experienced at all of this. And I'm sure through student services, she would guide us to make sure we're going right, as well as does Mrs. Delbridge. Expressive language, phonological awareness, print concepts, early numeracy, fine motor skills, manipulation, self-regulation, and attention. So attention and task persistence, transitions, following classroom expectations, emotional regulation, frustration tolerance. That's where my little Jake might not make it all the way. Social interaction, peer with adults, independent school routine. See, it's quite lengthy.
Well, and it's noted here that the decision is not guaranteed of the school has the final decision based on their determination if it's in the child's best interest.
Yeah, exactly. So here, that's just here's the actual short form for that rubric. And there's actually a form that has it that we actually show them letters, and there's an assessment with that too.
This is relatively standard.
Right.
It's standard, yeah. So all the tools are there to do it, and it's not going to cost any more money. It'll just cost time for somebody to be able to do that. The first screen is the parent request, and if the child isn't toileting, or there's a screen. It's screening all the way down.
I like it.
Yeah, so we're accessing another 3 months worth of kids.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's available in the schools around us, so we're missing out on that.
Yeah,
Also with siblings too, because I know we ran into that problem with one of our sped families where they had an elder student here,
Oh.
but to go to a different school, and she was trying to pull one of them out of one of the schools, and we're like, nope, can't pull him out because of the IEP, and you know, he's making progress, but then is a 4-year-old that, or a 5-year-old, but didn't meet the cutoff date. And so it makes it a little harder for families when they have to go to like 2 to 3 different schools to drop off.
How do you make people know of like this policy, like we didn't have it before and now we have it now? Like because people might say, oh, I'm not gonna go to Paideia because I can't get in. Like, so how do you let the public know of like the change?
What do you think, Mrs. Jones? How would you do that since you're in charge?
Well, I think it's a lot of times people come and they just ask, you know, and I don't think it's necessarily common knowledge which schools, you know, we just get a lot of like, oh, do you guys, are you gonna accept us now? So now there's at least a door that's opening. So I think through our families, through word of mouth, through when people just come and they're ready to enroll, we'll be able to open up that door and let them know that there's, at least it's not an automatic no. You know,
Yeah, like an
It'll
option
also be
for
on our
early
website.
yeah.
We'll post this on our website as the pathway. Yes,
To attach it to every piece of
Yeah.
kindergarten.
they'll know.
Kindergarten ready.
But I agree. I'm not sure if it's something we'd have to. Now, another thing what we're going to add is to our marketing plan is to add this early kinder readiness, you know, and make sure that we're helping kids get ready for kinder. And that's part of Mrs. Jones' push through the
And do our
preschools.
connection for preschool.
Yeah. Any other discussion needed on this one?
Is there anything, so in order to approve the policy, do we need to attach the other documents that you just showed us, Brian, or how is it referenced in here?
That's a great question. I purposely didn't attach the documents to the policy. Otherwise, every time we change the document, I'd have to go back to the board. Yeah, that's a good question. How are they referenced? I think it's referenced that we follow the law.
You could just say it somewhere in here under procedures. Family submits enrollment application available here.
Oh, it's here. It's here, right here. Yeah. Number 5.
Yeah.
App screening. Yeah, all the steps are there, just not the actual forms.
Yeah, it says here at the
6.
and 6, yeah,
Yeah.
the governing board delegates operational decisions consistent within the policy. Doesn't necessarily say, yeah, it says for documentation, it goes down to the executive
Oh, 8.
or
Yeah.
designee. Consistency of information.
There's already operation decision making, so. I think you either wanna have that. Operational decision making with the body that actually makes the decisions, or. We'll need to also pass some kind of resolution that says. The board delegates that. Responsibility downward somewhere.
Mhm.
Can we just put it in the policy that it insinuates? Let me share this as a Word doc again, Ben, so you could tell me where to type. Just, policy draft. Okay. Policy draft, share my screen. Imagine if it's in the policy, that would be insinuated or there. Yeah, I mean, in number 6, isn't that what 6 executive director or designee says ensures implementation consistency across campuses? That's why I think it is 6.
I think it's under principal, serves as decision maker for early entry determinations unless otherwise directed by the
Mhm.
governing board.
Mhm.
I would say unless otherwise directed by the executive director. I don't, you know.
So it's nitpicky until it becomes an issue.
Yeah.
With somebody who gets.
I would highly say unless directed by the executive director, you know, the board doesn't want to get all the way down to weeds like that.
Yeah,
Dr. Tejan, what do you think?
Well, we're giving delegation authority to the governing board, and then we're baking in that the principal is the designee
so we need
of
to,
the board.
so the language needs to be here. There needs to be something in that. So we're,
Probably-
and may
It's
delegate,
okay. It's okay, and just have the principal, who do you want to be the decision maker, the principal?
the principal.
So that's probably fine, unless otherwise directed.
He's changing, he wants to change that to unless otherwise directed by the executive director instead of the governing board.
Yeah, so the ED is not empowered to change that decision, the governing board is empowered to do that, so.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So I think it actually reads correctly, it's just a question of is that how we want it to work?
Oh,
But we are going to review it every year too, so maybe that would help to, you know, this becomes another document just to look at.
I think practically you're not gonna have an issue with the delegation and the scoring and determination, you're gonna have an issue with the appeal. When somebody doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
Want, then they have to appeal to the head of school / CEO or designee, is that the right person?
Or is it the governing board?
Or is it the governing board?
I think it's the governing board, it's the way this language is. Which,
Yeah.
and maybe that's not bad, because I think there's
They
others
also,
get appealed to the governing board, so I think maybe that is the way it is.
for retentions,
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, I think it's a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's, yeah, so if you would change appeals are reviewed by the governing board,
Yeah,
then I think you're okay. Then it's internally consistent and we can just make sure it works the way we want after the first year.
yeah.
Got it. Okay, I made that one change. The other one I did not change. Still says otherwise directed by the governing board. Then 7, appeals are reviewed by the governing board.
That's getting down in the, yeah.
Dr. Winston already said.
What's that?
That's a good question though.
You asked who was gonna be doing the testing.
That
That's,
gets into the,
Mrs. Jones is the executive director of operations out there.
well, doesn't that get into the implementation of it, which then?
Yeah, we have to decide that.
I don't know if the governing board necessarily needs to.
No, I let the principal's gotta, well, that'd be Raven because there's nobody at the other campus. But yeah, Raven's got a good, Miss Johnson has a great team between her and Miss Delbridge and those kindergarten teachers. I'm sure they can figure that thing out.
All it says is ensure implementation consistency, and then for the principal ensures documentation is complete. And clean.
Yeah, there isn't anyone explicitly reviewing the applications, doing the testing. At least not in this set. A designated early entry screening team. That's under 5.2. Step 2.
I like the idea of having a team because kindergarten teachers need to be a part of it.
Yeah, I agree.
And their classroom.
Yeah,
Can't just be solely on one person.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's who it says does the screening.
so you can say executive, I'm back on this last page, executive director. Assigns or nominates or designates the early screening,
I
early
think
entry
that would be the
screening team.
principal.
Principal would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe another bullet point,
Can you hear? I'm sorry?
another bullet point right under like serves and then designates the screening team or something like
Yeah.
designates and supervises.
Points, maybe principal appoints early entry screening team for their campus.
Early
This is one principal.
entry,
yeah.
early entry screening
Yeah.
points and supervises. So that means the early entry screening team would make the recommendations to the principal. The principal would have the final decision. That's how I'm
Then
reading that.
if the appeal is submitted, it gets kicked up to the governing board.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then the principal doesn't have to deal with the appeals. That gets up to this team, this body.
Yeah. But to adopt it, we would need to say with the
Revisions.
revisions.
Discuss division, probably.
Just, yeah.
So.
Yes.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the policy discussions, the revised kindergarten standard and early enrollment, with the revisions that we talked about.
I'll second that. You have to
Okay,
roll call for it.
okay, Dr. Windsor,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yeah.
Mrs. Rodriguez? Yes. Mrs. Chu?
Yes.
Dr. Teagan?
Yes.
Mrs. Sabaj?
Oh, I think she.
Yeah, did you say Hobie?
She said, yeah. I
Yes,
don't know. You guys need to go to coffee over at Scooters. Discuss names.
Katie, it's super easy. It's like the color beige with hoe in front.
I put my phonetic like thing in there, so.
All right, unanimously approved. Very good. All right, this next item 6 is the parent and family engagement policy that we did not know we had to have until about a week or 2 ago. We're going through a monitoring, and I believe this is something new that they're telling us to do because we all of us been in this business a long time and gone through a lot of monitorings.
It's really an overview of things that we already do.
Yep.
In a policy.
Couple places that I like that it codifies and because we're going to need to have evidence of artifacts that we're doing it is inside of here. It requires us to make sure that we're consulting with the parent on some policies and things like that. Where did I read that yesterday?
There's a numbering jump here from 5 to 10.
Oh man, did I mess up?
back to 6.
Okay, so let me share my screen so you can guide me. All right, where's my numbering problem? 4, 5.
ADE/federal monitoring elements.
Oh, 10. Oh my goodness gracious, how did that happen? 6, will that fix it? Ah. Okay, I'll edit this while you guys review. There we go. All right, we're there.
So you said, parents and family members need to participate in the adoption of the policy.
No, I don't think adoption, just in the the decision making and that looking at things.
You said to generate parent involvement evidence.
Yeah, we need usually in a monitoring, we need to have artifacts and evidence that says, hey, yeah, we have an agenda that they were here and here's the handout or here's the things we've done.
Is that what
Coffee
that's
chats.
referring to? So it's a combination of parent involvement.
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh yeah, so those 4 bullet points on the second page is what I was looking at. That then it comes back to the board. It says, yes, we did get parent input put on any actions and things we're doing before we bring it to the board.
What's maybe I missed it, but what's a LED wide evaluation session? LEA.
LEA stands for Local Education Agency. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, the district basically. Or the school, the district is a S. So it's each campus.
So basically that's just the survey. That's kind of what you're getting from that. Okay.
We do it in the surveys, but we need to do better at gathering. I mean, I think the Family Lighthouse Committee is a great council to be able to sit with each principal and you know, for something even like when we did the dress code, you know, we counseled together on that. The parent handbook, you know, how can we make the parent handbook more parent friendly as a tool, not just a box I have to check every year for the legal part of my company, as our school. You know, so looking at all these different policies, it'd be great to have parent input before we brought it up to the corporate board. even the calendar, we have the cultural calendar. We want to get input from our parent groups about, what events do we want to have? Because as I think I was talking to you, Mrs. Rodriguez, about, we don't want to add stuff to the calendar last minute. We want to plan it well in advance. And that's why we need the parents at the table earlier.
Is it something that Paideia would consider to do like invite like everybody kind of in the school to like, let's kind of discuss more things we can do during the year, like you're saying, like we would do the Lighthouse Committee, but we want to be inclusive of like all populations and like, because we're really into the school committee. So, open it up to like everybody to like kind of have input.
My experience has been that if I get 30 people in a room, it's going to be not productive. But if I can get a filter, if I can get, the Parent Lighthouse Committee to say, hey, give us your ideas, and we'll take that to this council, and we'll flesh out the ideas. So those who will bring up the ideas, either email them, or you guys have your meetings and you say, hey, bring these to us and we can discuss these at this event. But I mean, we've been in a few Lighthouse Committee meetings where you have 20 people around that conference room table, and sometimes nothing can be decided. So there's got to be a filter, a logical way of getting that information without too many. I don't mean too many people, just an organized way to get the information. I mean, Mrs. Jones, it's your ship. So maybe that's a good question. How do we get that information, first of all, in a logical, organized way?
Know the avenue for
Oh, that's
for their voice to be heard.
yeah, that's a good point.
Do you guys have a subcommittee in your Lighthouse team where
Action committees.
to parent? I mean, maybe that's a subcommittee that you guys can create, and then that person talks to our population, and then that's where you do surveys and like, what do you want to see, or what do you want to hear, what do you want us to discuss, and then you don't get like 20-30 people in a room, but filter it through emails, and then as a Lighthouse, you guys would discuss that and bring it to the board.
I mean, Crystal, you can speak on it as well, but like we are primarily really busy to like setting up like fundraising, doing the spring festival, like, all of these different things. So to add like the now academic side, like it would be great, but we only have so many people and so much time that I feel like it almost needs to be like another committee,
I don't think it'd be academic necessarily. It's just to say, hey, review these policies, be aware of them, and if there's something wrong with them and something that doesn't make sense, please bring them to us. Mrs. Jones, does the Family Lighthouse Committee have action teams, that kind of thing, or
No.
okay, but maybe it is another site council. Maybe there's a specific group that just does this kind of thing. Yeah, but we can decide that later.
Yeah, I think that would be something for us to discuss and figure out how to get how we get their this is just saying that we want their voice, and that that we need a formal system for getting that information from our parents, but we want them to know they can voice their desires, like you said, even with the calendar, like maybe, here's the proposed activities, and if you have other ideas, come see so-and-so.
Yeah.
And then you might get a few who will say something. I still find it difficult to get some of the surveys back, so I'm going to brainstorming ways to get parents to fill out the surveys, and because I think, people think, oh, somebody else would probably fill it out and give their opinions, and I just want people to know that we really want to hear from everyone.
Could, if you put the survey like at the front desks, because I'm trying to think of like how long is it? Is it really long?
Outside, and we pass them out
Oh.
Yeah.
in the
At one point, I had it on a QR
We
code.
did that. That's what we did.
And
We
I
put
was
the
walking,
fire-
I was walking from car to car in
Yeah.
the dismissal line saying, hey, please do this. You're going to be here for 30 minutes. Can you do this survey?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's what we did this time. We did that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I don't
we had the
remember- I
QR
don't remember that coming
papers.
to me.
Yeah, we had them
Oh, it was
outside.
over here.
Both sides. We
Hmm.
were doing that, but maybe we need to do it more. Like, it was one day, so maybe we need to do it more.
Any other discussion on item 6?
So this is a heavy lift for you guys. I mean, it's, there's a lot in here that you're promising to do. In terms of engagement and the reduction of barriers, particularly for our community, it's gonna be English as a second language and making sure that this is translated and made available. There's not a whole lot to the policy itself. It's more about how to manage the policy. I really think the parts that are substantive policy decisions are, it's really just 10.3 required content areas of the policy. And here we're saying some things we might do, but not really committing to doing any of them in particular. So as a starting point, I think this is good. You can adopt it maybe without parental input, but this is what they're gonna have to look at and decide. Do I, as a parent, feel like the school is engaging with families according to the policy, and if not, what things need to change?
Yeah.
So you can put this in place, but then you're gonna have to develop all these, not just, I mean, I think Lighthouse is perfect, except that you're already overwhelmed. Maybe there's somebody in there that comes all the time, participates, but doesn't have any like authority or responsibility, who would want to run a like a parent engagement on this specific issue. Because it is like the parent engagement policy, right? This is what the school is promising to do. And Lighthouse is like a kind of an obvious liaison if they weren't already doing all the other stuff. But maybe just thinking about ways that you can put the policy in front of parents at the events, for example, that the
Yeah.
committees
I
are-
think,
so-
I think we can, yeah, we can bring it up at events. We can make people know it exists. Unfortunately, I mean, we can definitely reach out to the group at our next meeting, which I think is this Friday, and say, hey, is anybody willing to lead this? I think right now, the hardship we're having this year is everybody on our team is working full-time, plus a lot of other things going on, and the kids are getting older and in activities and out of school now. So it is a little hard to ask them to do one more thing, but I don't ever think it hurts to approach it and bring it up at our meeting and just say this was brought up at the board meeting, and is anybody, does anybody want to do it? One, and then if you do, are you, able to? Or possibly, somebody who wants to be involved in something like this, but can't commit to the Lighthouse side of it. And then, because every parent on our team knows other parents that might want to be involved, they just can't be involved in all the events we do, kind of thing. So
I would suggest this. We're not the body to, figure out how to do this thing. I'd definitely give this to Victoria and say, hey, figure out how you're going to do this thing, because it might not be the Lighthouse. Maybe it is a true site council that has a whole different stewardship, and it might even trigger a different adult. It might trigger a different mom or dad or grandpa that says, oh, I didn't want to do the event stuff, but
right.
I'll sit on a site council. And so so I wouldn't want to make a how decision at this point. I just want to make a what decision, then give it to the Mrs. Jones to say, hey, maybe on the next board meeting, report to us a little bit of how you're going to do this. Does that make sense?
Agreed.
Yes. One quick question. So like for the barrier reduction and stuff like that, like, cause I was thinking as you were speaking about like the very high Spanish speaking population that we have. So does that mean like there's gonna be more emphasis on changing, making sure that's available? Like, is Class Dojo would then also be in Spanish?
It does,
or-
it translates.
It does,
it
okay. So you
translates,
just
yeah.
have the button.
Yeah.
Okay,
So we can do that.
But yes, I mean, the answer to your question is, so
Absolutely.
yes, there would be, if it's not already being done,
more,
as
yeah.
part of the policy being implemented. you would
The
have to add these
surveys,
things, yeah.
everything would have to be.
Okay, so it already
also,
is, okay.
Well, the surveys aren't.
Oh, they're
So we
not,
would-
okay.
Yeah, but Class Dojo.
The cognitive surveys are.
Oh, they are. Oh, yeah, they are. That's right. They are.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, you can choose your language. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's true.
We might have to work on the website and some other things, but I'm happy to, I'm just sitting around, man. I'm happy to help with stuff like that.
Sitting around being cold.
Being cold, yes.
Are we ready to make a motion?
Yeah, so I moved to adopt as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, Dr. Windsor,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mrs. Rodriguez, yes. Mrs. Chu? Yes. Dr. Tejan?
Yes.
Mrs. Obey?
Woo.
Yes.
All right. Passed unanimously. All right, Dr. Tejan, would you like to add a direction to Mrs. Jones for our notes?
Sure.
Did I catch you off guard?
I think that's unilateral, right? So, Mrs. Jones, if you want to, investigate how to implement the new, parent and family engagement policy and report back to the governing board. This is for next school year, right? So it would be maybe 2 meetings from now.
Will do.
Good.
Thank you. All right, and the last one, Mrs. Jones, can you take this one, item 7, please?
Is the calendar, post calendar, this is not the culture calendar, so it's not gonna have all the extra events. This is just the formal board calendar, just making sure that it just has to be presented and passed. Let me see.
So if we
Oh,
notice,
there you go.
if we notice something missing, is this the time to bring it up?
There might be something missing because, well, we can bring it up, yes.
Yeah.
But just know that the cultural things like the fall festivals and events like that are separate. And
Okay.
those won't be included on this calendar.
This is just for
Okay,
the-
I noticed the fall festival was, so I was
I
thinking
took
we
it
were
off.
the spring festival. Oh, you took it off?
Oh, no, I didn't.
did
Yes,
it.
it's off. It's off now. Yeah, I forgot that one. But yeah, the reason we wouldn't put all those on there is because if we made a change this calendar, we'd have to technically go back to the board.
Yeah, this is really just the holidays, the half days.
Legally required, like Constitution
Legally
Day and
required.
Founder Day.
Yeah.
Has anyone counted the days to make sure we had enough yet?
Yes,
Good
ma'am.
question. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes?
We counted the days.
Oh, okay.
Multiple times, multiple people.
That's the thing. we need to fix that.
Somebody asks every year, so.
I know.
Used to be Beth, man. She was so good at that.
Right?
Half days count as a full day because lunch is served.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm just looking at it compared to the one from last year, because I grabbed it from downstairs to see if there's any real differences. Because I know one year you guys changed, it was like fall break or something like that.
Yeah, we kept
And,
everything pretty
um,
consistent.
It did not coincide with like the Croc Center,
Yeah.
and like, but now you guys are back.
Yeah, we
on track,
purposely
so.
kept everything the exact same weeks. Very
Mhm.
consistent. Cause I know it throws parents off. When we switch it up.
Yeah, it's important that their schedules.
Yeah.
For the, the clubs
Yeah.
line up. Also, the change that, because the school had always started in August, And so then it got pushed back to July, like last year was the first year,
Mhm.
all the way going from kindergarten to seventh grade. It messed up my vacation.
Oh,
schedule.
Oh, man.
So I was just
I-
wondering, how come we decided to move it to the end of July versus August? What was the
We
reason
found
for
that
that?
the 2 days of the introduction, getting them into school and getting them back into the routines
Mhm.
saved time. And
Mhm.
it needed, so that during that first week of August, they're just up and running by then.
Yeah,
And then it
Okay.
doesn't.
That
push
makes
into
sense.
And
Memorial
it doesn't
Day.
push it
Yeah,
past
after
Memorial Day,
that.
so then
Yeah.
at the end of the year, the kids are out by Memorial Day.
Yeah, because most of the kids don't come back after that anyways.
yeah.
I have a question in March, the 5th, which is the end of third quarter, the right before break, is that a half day also? Cause like
Yeah,
all
it
the
says
other.
fourth and fifth half days.
Oh, it's just not.
Oh,
March.
sorry,
Not
March.
March,
Because
like
End of the-
October,
yeah,
October
it's
2nd is
not a half day.
Okay,
and it was on purpose that that's not a half day because that's also sometime in that month is gonna be the Spring Festival, so there's additional half day in that month.
Oh.
oh, got it, okay.
So we wanted to not have too many half days going on in that month. Sorry, I was looking at February before.
No, nice to know because the 25th is a half day,
Yeah,
so that's gonna be
mhm.
like the spring
Yeah.
festival, because then the 26th, there's no school. Looks like it,
Not officially, but officially,
okay.
not officially, officially.
Maybe you guys have school. Okay. It looks, I mean, comparing it to the one from last year, it looks like very similar.
Yep. We kept it consistent.
I like it. It goes out early then, yeah, we can start planning for vacations.
Yep.
Cause it is important.
So I move to adopt as presented.
I second that. Dr. Windsor,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mrs. Rodriguez, yes, Mrs. Chu,
Yeah.
Dr. Teachen,
Yes.
Mrs. Sabai.
Yes.
All right, last adjournment. And then don't leave because we want to try to set our next meeting date now.
Well,
Go ahead, Mrs.
I'll
Jones.
move to adjourn. At 6:21. So
What time is it? It is 7:21, 6:21, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, how do I do that?
all in-
All in favor to join the meeting, adjourn the meeting.
There you go. Aye.
Aye.
All right, next, next meeting. We need to definitely, we can't go past March because March has some part of our financial policies and procedures, and our quality control stuff says we meet in March. We have some topics we have to discuss in March. So I would suggest that we meet actually let me put my calendar up. Best time to meet is right after the audit. And that would be like April 6th, because the audit is over on the 31st, and we need to say yay to the audit in our next meeting. So we could do Monday the 30th. I plan on being in Phoenix at that time. And then I'll just tell our audit guys, hey, you get it done by the 30th, people are paying you good money.
April 6th is good.
That's true. That will not work. I would recommend either, yeah, March 30th. That might be a good time for us.
Sounds good.
Works for me.
I think it
Sounds great.
works.
All right, I will send out a placeholder now, and then over the time, I'll make sure I just keep on populating the meeting notice with different documents as I go, as I get them. I want to just also express my heartfelt gratitude and deepest love, because Paideia is driving on better than ever, and I'm not even there, so it just makes me so proud and so happy. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Whitaker.
Thank you.
Okay, I will see you guys in March, I hope.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good
Bye.
Bye.